Ever felt the urge to create your own DIY masterpiece? Welcome to the magical realm of do-it-yourself, where the only limit is your imagination. Here, we celebrate the art of creating, the joy of making something with our own hands. DIY is not just about crafting objects, it's about crafting experiences, memories, and skills. From room decor to homemade gifts, the possibilities are endless. Each project is a journey, a new adventure. Stay tuned as we dive into the fascinating world of DIY. The first step in the DIY process: choosing your project. Embarking on a DIY journey begins with a crucial decision: deciding what to create. It's essential to select a project that not only piques your interest, but also matches your skill level. This ensures a fun and fulfilling experience. The world of DIY is vast and varied, ranging from home decor to personalized gifts, and even artistic creations. For those who love adding a personal touch to their spaces, DIY room decor projects such as hand-painted wall art or macrame plant hangers may be the way to go. If you enjoy crafting thoughtful presents, why not try your hand at homemade candles or customized photo frames? Remember, it's not about perfection, but rather the joy of creating something with your own two hands. So, whether you're a seasoned DIY veteran or a curious beginner, there's a project out there just waiting for your unique touch. So have you decided on your project yet? Now that you have your project, it's time to gather your materials. Preparing for a DIY project is like setting off on a grand adventure. You know your destination, but the journey is just as important. So, what's in your DIY toolkit? Well, that largely depends on the project you've chosen. For some projects, the basics might suffice: a good pair of scissors, a ruler, some glue, and maybe a pack of colorful markers. But for others, you might need to venture deeper into the DIY wilderness. You might find yourself in need of paints, brushes, a sewing kit, or even power tools. Think of your materials as the building blocks of your creation. Each one has a role to play, and together they bring your vision to life. Now, where do you find these materials? Luckily, in our connected world, resources are plentiful and often just a click away. Online marketplaces are treasure troves of DIY supplies. Whether you need a pack of beads or a sheet of plywood, chances are you can find it online. But don't discount the value of local stores. Craft shops, hardware stores, even thrift shops can be a goldmine of materials. Plus, you get the added benefit of supporting local businesses. Remember, DIY isn't just about making something, it's about making something out of what you have. So don't be afraid to get creative with your materials. That old t-shirt could be the perfect fabric for your next project, or that jar you were about to recycle could become a beautiful centerpiece. Quality is another crucial aspect to consider. While it's tempting to opt for cheaper materials, remember that good quality products often lead to a better end result. Lastly, always prioritize safety. Make sure you're using your materials and tools correctly and in a safe environment. So, take a moment to gather your materials. Go on a scavenger hunt around your house, visit your local shops, or do a deep dive online. Remember, preparation is key in the world of DIY. With your materials at the ready, it's time to get creative. Now that we've gathered our materials, let's dive straight into the heart of our DIY project. The key to a successful DIY project is to take it one step at a time. This is where patience and precision come into play. So let's get started. First, lay out all your materials in front of you. Make sure everything is within reach. This not only saves time, but also ensures a smooth workflow. Now, let's begin with the first step. Remember, the first step is always crucial. It sets the foundation for your entire project. So take your time here. Let's say we're making a piece of room decor. Our first step might be to prepare our base material. If we're using wood, for example, we'd want to sand it down to a smooth finish. If we're using fabric, we'd want to ensure it's clean and ironed. Next, we move on to the second step. This could be applying the first layer of paint or attaching our first piece of fabric. Again, take your time. It's better to do it right the first time than to have to redo it later. And so we continue step by step building up our project. Each step is a new layer, a new piece of the puzzle. It's important to follow the plan, but don't be afraid to make adjustments along the way. That's part of the beauty of DIY, the freedom to improvise and make it your own. Now let's talk about troubleshooting. It's inevitable that you'll run into some issues along the way. Maybe the paint isn't drying the way you expected, or the fabric isn't sticking as well as it should. Don't panic. These are common issues that every DIY enthusiast encounters. The key is to remain calm and think of a solution. Maybe you need to apply a second coat of paint or use a different type of adhesive. Remember, every problem has a solution. As you near the end of your project, take a moment to step back and assess your work. Are there any areas that need touch-ups? Any final adjustments to be made? This is your chance to perfect your masterpiece. And finally, the last step. This is where everything comes together. Maybe it's attaching the last piece of fabric or applying the final coat of paint. Take your time with this step. You've come so far and you're almost there. And there you have it, your very own DIY masterpiece. You've taken raw materials and transformed them into something beautiful, something uniquely yours. And that's the magic of DIY. It's not just about creating something, it's about the journey, the process, the satisfaction of seeing your vision come to life. So remember, DIY is more than just a hobby. It's a way of expressing yourself. It's a way of making your mark on the world. And most importantly, it's a way of having fun. So keep creating, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep enjoying the process. And there you have it, your very own DIY masterpiece. Now, let's bring it all together and give your project the presentation it deserves. As we conclude the creation process, it's time to add those finishing touches that will transform your piece from a simple project into a masterpiece. Think of these final steps as the icing on the cake. It's the subtle detailing, the careful polishing, and the thoughtful placements that can truly elevate your work. It might be a dash of color here, a smooth edge there, or perhaps a touch of glitter to enhance its charm. These seemingly small additions can make all the difference, highlighting the time, effort, and creativity you've poured into your project. But it doesn't end there. How you present your work can be just as important as the work itself. Think about how you'd like others to view your creation. Consider the ambiance, the lighting, the backdrop. Is it a cozy corner in your home, a rustic outdoor setting, or perhaps a sleek modern space? Each choice you make can complement and enhance your DIY project, showcasing it in the best possible light. Your presentation should tell a story, a narrative that reflects your vision and the journey you've embarked on to bring your idea to life. It's not just about showing off your work, but more importantly, sharing the passion and dedication behind it. And finally, be proud. Be proud of what you've accomplished, of the skills you've learned, and the creativity you've uncovered. Remember, the beauty of DIY is in the details. Let's take a moment to recap our DIY journey. We started by exploring the vast world of do-it-yourself projects where creativity meets functionality. We then talked about how to choose a project that not only sparks your interest but also suits your skill level and the resources at your disposal. After settling on a project, we moved on to gathering the necessary materials. From common household items to specialized tools, we emphasized the importance of being prepared before diving into the project. Next, we walked through a step-by-step guide to bring your DIY vision to life, emphasizing patience, precision, and the willingness to learn from mistakes. We concluded with ideas on adding the perfect finishing touches and presenting your DIY masterpiece. So, are you ready to start your own DIY journey? Remember, the only limit is your imagination. With a little creativity and effort, you can transform everyday items into extraordinary pieces of art.